With the most recent update to the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC Part 1 and Part 2, we have ourselves a new Pokemon to talk about. And today we're going to be talking about my favorite out of the four, Archaludon. There we go. As you see here, Archaludon is the evolution of Duraludon, introduced from Generation 8. One generation later, and they already gave it an evolution. Kind of a surprise, since Duraludon has a 535 base stat total. But it also has some interesting abilities, being a Steel and Dragon type with lightweight for an ability, or light metal for an ability, heavy metal for a second ability, and stalwart for its third ability. But funny enough though, this Pokemon here, Archaludon, it's going to take some time to get used to that. Archaludon has two different abilities actually. One of them being Stamina, which is normally would be found on Mudsdale. Every time this Pokemon gets hit, it raises its physical defense by one stage. And then Sturdy, an ability that means it cannot be one-shot by one hit, not just one-hit KO moves. A very popular move for setting up entry hazards and whatnot. So what does this mean exactly? Well, first and foremost, we got Eviolite Duraludon. So right here is Duraludon stats. Not too bad really. Good special attack, good defense. A little bit lackluster on the hit points. Still fairly good HP. Weakest point is special defense. And it's got average-ish speed. You know, the metagame normally is top tier at 100 speed and higher. Especially if you're 101 speed, you can probably outspeed a lot of those base 100s. But with Eviolite Duraludon though, that if you have a max defense nature, 361 being times by 50% basically makes it, or times 1.5 and a 50% boost, basically makes it about 540 defense. Now obviously Duraludon does not have Sturdy, but with Eviolite you should just about be able to guarantee a Stealth Rock, maybe a Thunder Wave. Eviolite Duraludon can definitely pull its own weight as a bit of a lead support Pokemon. That 218 special defense now gets bumped up to about 327 if you have max special defense, if you want to be that guy. You know, like if you're running not max defense, but you're maybe running max hit points at 344, max special defense, you're still going to be fairly bulky. Kind of like how a lot of people would run max special defense Fortress. I think in Generation, I want to say Generation 6 or 7, that was a kind of popular set. But yeah, so I actually used Duraludon my first time playing through Sword and Shield. It was my, if you're talking about the Pokemon anime, my Noivern. You know how Ash had a late game Noivern in X and Y? It was my late game pickup that I really enjoyed a lot ever since I first saw it come out. And out of all the Pokemon out there, actually funny enough though, obviously not said in any of my videos, I don't think, I've been wondering when are we gonna start getting evolutions for newer Pokemon like Gen 6 and onward, and we actually got that now with Duraludon, and a third evolution to Applin, who I also used as a Flapple in Sword and Shield. I used a rotation and whatnot in my Sword and Shield playthrough my very first time. A lot of fun thanks to the mobile box and the experience all and whatnot. But I think next we're going to talk about Archaludon's potential. I have a theory that I have a good feeling it's probably not going to be false. But also keep in mind, this thing went from a building to a bridge. Alright, so right here I have Duraludon's stats, as you guys just saw in the previous little part of the video. 70, 95, 115, 120, 50, and 85. And I have down below what I think Archaludon's stats could be. Now, I honestly kind of looking at this, I still feel like I'm overshooting it. I have his base stat total at 570, which is right there on the cusp of like lower tier legendaries like Zapdos, Entei, those type of Pokemon, Regice, those type of Pokemon. But I do think, like, a lot of evolutions that have happened before, like I think to Electivire, Magmortar, I think Magnezone, I think Annihilate too. A lot of them, they take a loss in speed. Even Mega Garchomp, when it Mega Evolves, it goes from, I think, 101 speed to 91 speed, which is kind of a game-changing stat loss, really. Like I said before, 100 is that fine point where you can get some good outspeeds, especially if you're Scarf. And 101, you're going to be able to outspeed, like, all of the mythicals that are 100 base speed. Everything else that's 100 base speed, like I think Charizard's 100 base speed, Typhlosion's 100 base speed, those types of Pokemon. You're going to be a big threat, especially if you're Scarf, because then a Scarf 101 outspeeds a Scarf 100. But what I do think here, though, is since Duraludon already had a 535, and this is not a pseudo, and I'm not going to change it here, but I would like to rectify. I think the base stat total for Archaludon is going to be probably 555, if not 570. And what I think the biggest thing here we're going to take away is we're going to lose 30 speed. We're going to go from 85 to 55. But we're going to put 20 of those points in special defense, which takes that from a 50 to a 70. After all, I know you're kind of you could be a light building, you could be a heavy building. But Duraludon, though, is 85. Archaludon is a bridge. If you guys saw the trailer, it is a bridge. And I think that's just really cool, honestly. It kind of reminds me of Unova, which is the next remake, which we're not going to get into that because BDSP sucked ass. But I didn't even actually finish it, to be honest. Probably one of the first Pokemon games I haven't finished. But, we're not talking about BDSP. We're talking about probably going to be one of my new favorite Gen 9 Pokemon in terms of personal preference, Archaludon. But I do think, though, just to make it stand out a bit more from Duraludon, I do think, even though it has stamina, I think the way this thing looks, it looks bulky. I think it's going to get a decent defense boost up to 130. And I do think its special attack will go up to 140. I really don't think, especially with it, well, you never know. With stamina and this new move, Electro Shot, being basically like Meteor Beam, and also a move that doesn't need charge in a certain weather. It's like a combination of Solar Beam and Meteor Beam. And they didn't even call it Electro Beam. They called it Electro Shot. But basically, it's a move that doesn't need it needs one turn to charge, kind of like Fly and Dig. And it raises your special attack on that first turn, like Meteor Beam. But it doesn't need that first turn to charge in the rain. Kind of like how Solar Beam doesn't need to charge in the sun. But here, though, I do think, besides the speed, everything else will get a little bit of a boost. Special attack and defense will get probably the best boost, because that's Duraludon's strong points. I do think its attack will go up by 5. I think its HP could go up by 5. If I were to say, though, maybe its HP stays the same because of stamina. Maybe its attack stays the same, and that would drop it down to 560. But I just don't see how this thing goes from a building to a bridge and not get attack. And I think, except for like Greninja, I'm pretty positive everything gains at least 5 hit points when they evolve. I can't think of anything else, but this is going to be a crazy thing. We got about a month, right? It's the 9th, so we got a month and 4 days to the DLC as of me recording this. I'm probably going to try and upload this as soon as I can, just because it's fresh in my mind. But I'm excited, though. What are your guys' thoughts on Archaludon? Oh, good lord. Archaludon. What are your guys' thoughts on Diplin, Raging Bolt, and Iron Crown? I already have memorized, thank goodness. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I feel like we got more in store that they're not telling us about Area Zero. And especially about this, Ogerpon. Is that what it's called? I honestly, geez, I have no idea what its name is. But regardless, though, I definitely think we're going to be in store for a great season of DLC coming up here in the next month or so. Be sure to look forward to it. Obviously, I'm not covering the gameplay stuff. I kind of just want to cover maybe some competitive stuff. I've been really into the Nuzlocke, not really the Pokemon Showdown stuff, except for what I also just recorded before this, which is kind of a goofy thing, but you never know. It's kind of fun. But regardless, though, thank you guys very much for watching. Leave your comments down below about what you think about Archaludon in particular. What do you think? What's your prediction on stats and whatnot? We already have the confirmed typing ability. All we know is stats. And with that being said, we're on our way to 100 subscribers. I think we're like 5 away, give or take. So can't wait for that. Thank you guys very much for watching. And I will see you guys on whatever I do next. Peace.